everyone. Welcome to the One Soccer Nation podcast. Today we have the pleasure of speaking with Inonge Kaloustian. Inonge is a professional soccer player who just ended her season with Zambia Institute for Sustainable Development FC.
Inonge, thank you for taking the time to, speak with us today. We're so excited to welcome you here and just for you to share your journey and just motivate other young, aspiring players. How are you and how are you feeling today?
Hi guys. Thank you so much for having me today. I really appreciate it. I think any opportunity to share my story and like you said, like kind of like motivate that next generation is something that I always like take seriously. So thank you. I appreciate it. I feel good. I'm happy to be here.
We love that. So could you just kind of start off by just telling us what age you started playing soccer and why you chose to, choose soccer as your sport to play?
Yeah, I've been playing soccer for a long time. Like I started playing maybe when I was like 5 or 6. And it was just like, like rec league soccer, like nothing super serious. My parents were more so interested in like allowing me to try different things and like really like express myself. So I did like almost every sport honestly. Like I did soccer, basketball, tennis, swimming, like I did ballet, like I did a lot of different sports. So I'm really grateful to them for like allowing me to, try different things. And they were never like, it was never like, oh, like you have to be good at this sport, you have to be good at this instrument, like you need to get a scholarship. Like, I mean, obviously it's like important to get scholarships, but they were never like, pressing me out like, oh, like this has to be something that is like your full-time thing. Like it was more so like just like whatever you like, find out what it is that you like and maybe you can like cultivate a love out of it. I would say like we're a very academically oriented family, but also a big sports family. Both of my parents played basketball in college. Like that was like for me to be in sports was important to them. Um, and then like I played soccer and basketball through high school. And yeah, soccer was kind of just the one that stuck. Like I think I liked both equally. But I definitely dedicated a lot more time to soccer and I was much better at soccer. If you see me play basketball, I feel bad for you, honestly. It's not pretty. But so it just kind of stuck. And then that's why I decided to, pursue soccer in college as well. Yeah.
That's funny because I feel like I'm the same way with basketball. I'm
Mhm.
so bad. Like you're really laughing seeing me play basketball, but like
No, it's not.
we always played it with my dad and stuff. But that just wasn't our sport. So like that is so
Yeah.
funny. So like if you didn't play soccer, what sport would you choose? Basketball. So would it have been basketball that you would have chose if you didn't play soccer?
Probably basketball. I wish that okay, sometimes I'm like, "Oh, I feel like I would have been good at lacrosse," but I never tried lacrosse, but that was, like, another sport that was, like, interesting to me. But, yeah, it still probably would've just been basketball, honestly, but
Mm,
yeah.
okay. So, just going back to soccer, can you kind of describe your recruiting process and why you chose to commit to Clark University?
Yeah, so I feel like my soccer story in general is, like, pretty, like, unconventional. I, um I didn't know much about, like, the recruiting process to play in college. I feel like in PG County, like, the whole club soccer scene is kind of like if you know type of thing, and we definitely did not know. Like, I didn't I didn't start playing club soccer until, like, my junior year of high school, which is, like, obviously very late. Like, I feel like most people, if you're pretty serious about playing in college, like, you're probably committed by then. So, I don't even know, like, how that process started, but yeah, I just started reaching out to club teams around that time, like, it was, like, winter of my junior year, and then, a lot of teams, they were not even willing to have me come because they're like, "I can't really help you, like, you're a junior and it's winter, like, it's, like, kinda too late," type of thing. But my coach, he let me come and try out, and then he took me on, and like I thank him every day for it, because like not, a lot of people would be willing to give me that chance. I played for Maryland Rush with Coach Kurtz, and yeah, I'm just really grateful for him. Like, and yeah, I would say like probably like half the team was committed by then. So yeah, it was a bit intimidating. Like I had never done, I feel like there's a whole like etiquette around club soccer. Like it's like a whole other world, and I just didn't really know how it works. Um so yeah, I'm really grateful for them like kind of like showing me the ropes, and he was talking to coaches for me and all that stuff, and like um I I'm the type of person where like I wasn't very specific when it came to the type of school that I wanted to go to. Like I was looking at big schools, I was looking at small schools, like private schools, public schools. Like I didn't really have a preference. I knew that I was interested in psychology, and so one day, Kurtz, my coach, I think he texted me or called me, and he was like, "Oh, he was like, you want to do psychology, right?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Oh, I have this school called Clark that I had sent a player to." And I was like, "Clark?" I was like Clark Atlanta? Like I'd never heard of another Clark besides Clark Atlanta. He was like, "No, it's in Massachusetts. It's like a small liberal arts school." I was like, "Okay, whatever." Like, um, yeah, I'll look them up or whatever. So I was like looking them up, and it was like a super cute school. Like, yeah, it's like a big psychology school. Like I think that's their biggest major, which is what I ended up majoring in. And yeah, so he was like, "I'll put you in contact with the coach." So then the coach came to one of my showcases. I don't remember when that was. I think this was into senior year actually. It was like pretty late. So then the assistant coach came to a showcase that we had in Maryland, and then after that she invited me to like a soccer clinic. And it's funny because I actually was deciding between going to the Clark clinic and then going to a clinic for another school that was that same weekend. And then I was like, I don't know, like something's just telling me to go to the Clark clinic. So then I went, and like me and my mom always talk about this. Like I don't know what it was about. So the city that the school is in is called Worcester. I don't know what it is about like when we first got to Worcester, but I was just like, it just really reminded me of home, and not in the sense that it necessarily like looks like PG County, but it just gave me like a similar vibe. And I was like, yeah, like this is it. It really was like a if you know you know type of thing, or when you know you know. And yeah, and then like I did the clinic. At the end of the clinic, my coach, Coach Bree, I love her. She was like, yeah, like this is at the end of the clinic. She was like, yeah, we'd love to have you next year. I was like, oh, okay. So then that was in like I think January of my senior year. So this was like my last chance. Like I was like, if I'm gonna be looking at any like last schools, it's gonna be this one. And then yeah, so then I was deciding between Clark and then another school, and then I ended up choosing Clark in the end, and I'm very grateful for it.
Mm.
Yeah, very happy.
I love
And
that.
I just like the experience because like it was nothing like I had ever seen before, really. Because I feel like people. I mean, I know that you guys aren't from PG, but I feel like people in PG they tend to like be here like generationally. So it's like your parents grew up in PG, you're from PG, you don't really leave PG type of thing. So it was like nice to go somewhere else for college and like see something else. Because I feel like what I thought, I don't know, I was kind of like ignorant. Like I thought the rest of the US looked like PG County. It obviously doesn't. So but it was like definitely like a really good learning experience for me. Yeah.
I love that. I feel like we had a similar experience where we kind of committed later.
Mhm.
Like we honestly like switched to a whole nother team because the team that we were with originally they weren't really helping us, find team or like universities to
Mhm.
like speak to or that were like looking at us. And then
Yeah.
when we switched teams, we started finding more opportunities. I feel like the coach was more connected, and he had more experience dealing with players who are looking to go to university. So that was
Yeah.
really helpful having someone, because I know there's a lot of people that don't necessarily have that. Um,
Mhm.
like I feel like this is why this platform is also so important too, because it's giving, just another platform for younger players to see. Oh, let me see how she got here, and
Yes. And
so
it's such a, like, gate kept process, you know what I mean? Because it's
yeah.
like I don't know, because I grew up in the PG County space where it's like, when it comes to basketball or football, it's like, coaches are more so coming to you, like, you're not necessarily going to coaches, like, for
Mm,
AAU, for example, like, it's coaches crawling everywhere at these tournaments, you know what I'm saying? And, like, obviously, it's like coaches come to showcases and stuff for soccer, but I feel like the the experience is more so geared towards, like, you have to put yourself out there a lot more. So if you don't
mm,
know that, like, it's gonna be almost impossible to get recruited, you know?
Yeah.
yeah, it's a tough process. It's really about who you know and like how you do it. Like you really have to know exactly what you're doing, or the person or your coach has to know what he's doing as well.
Mhm.
There's so many
And
other great players that could have went to bigger schools, but just because of their coach, or just like they're not in those environments where the bigger coaches are, then they go to like a smaller school. But I feel like
exactly.
it's still a good experience. Maybe not going to the biggest schools, but I feel like going to college is so important. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And I also think, like, the process is still so, like, heavily correlated with money, because
Mm,
it's like, when you get on these club teams and it's like, your teammates have been playing clubs since they were 4 years old, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? It's like, you have to know about it, you have to have the money for it, like, it's just it's not realistic for, like, the average person, you know
yeah,
what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
yeah, that's true. Yeah, that.
So, that's my biggest qualm with, like, soccer in the US right now.
Mm.
Like, the pay to play model, oh my goodness. I could talk about that for hours, so let me not get into it, but
No, but
yeah.
it's so true though. It's like it's literally so true. But
Mhm.
we also had like the same feeling when we went to Maryland. Like it just felt like home, because we visited other schools and it didn't feel the way it felt when we went visited Maryland. So
Yeah.
yeah, we can definitely relate. It's just a feeling like like it's a
Yeah, I feel like everyone we've talked to has said, like, they just knew, like, this was the place for them, you
Mhm.
know?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. But what would you say your favorite thing at Clark was,
Mm.
or your favorite thing about Clark?
My favorite thing about Clark? It's hard. Um, I feel like, I mean, it's kind of, like, corny, but I guess I could say, like, the people,
Mm,
you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because like, I still talk to, like, so many of my teammates and just, like, my friends in general from Clark every day. Every day I'm talking to them, you know? And it's just like, I feel like it's something that you can take for granted sometimes, because it's like, not everyone is, like, close with their college friends like that. It's like, obviously,
Yeah.
there's some people that you fall off with, whatever, but I still talk to, like, a good amount of my teammates and friends literally every day, and I talk to my coach all the time, like, we're super close. Like, she supported me a lot throughout this whole process. And, like, not I think I don't wanna misspeak, but I think, like, yeah, from Clark, the only people that have gone on to, like, play professionally are me and then one other player, my friend Jamie. So, like, it's not like my coach is, like, constantly sending people to play professionally, so but just, like, the way that she has stepped up and, like, shown us support, like, during that time, like, she's amazing, I love her.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I would definitely say the people and, like, the connections that I, um, made during my 4 years there.
yeah,
Yeah, I think we can agree with that. We still talk to most of our teammates, and we
Yeah,
probably visit them every summer, so it's just like,
that's
yeah,
nice.
honestly, the people was probably my favorite part about college as well. I feel
Mhm.
like they're gonna be, like, lifelong friends, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's about, right? Because it's like,
Yeah,
most people are not gonna you're not gonna no one's gonna play soccer forever.
yeah,
So,
that's
yeah.
no, but I
mhm.
also feel like your relationship with your coach kind of determines how your college experience goes. I feel like soccer wise.
It's
So I
make
feel
or
like
break.
having a relationship with your coach is really important. Even if it's not, you guys are not super close, but just a healthy relationship where you guys can just talk or reach out whenever you can,
Yeah.
like that. Keeping that relationship is so important because your coach has a lot of connections. You never know if you might need something and need some help to another team or something. So yeah, I think that's really important.
Yeah, I agree. Like me and my coach, hey, I love that woman. Like she really was like my mom, like away from home. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? Like
yeah.
she would do anything for me, and I feel like she never hesitated to like make me feel welcome. I feel like especially because a lot of the girls, I'm sure that you guys like had a similar experience. Like it's tough being away from home and you're not necessarily like close to home. You're like a flight away. And it was the same for me, like because Massachusetts is like it was like a 7-hour drive.
Mm,
Um, so like, when people are going home for like a long weekend, it's like I can't go anywhere,
yeah.
like but yeah, she just always like made me feel welcome and like feel like I belong.
Mm,
Um yeah, and I'm really grateful to her for that.
mm. That's so
Mhm.
nice because I feel like a lot of coaches don't do that. I feel like for a lot of coaches, it's all about business and who makes them
Yes.
look good. And the fact that
Yeah.
she actually built a relationship with you, I actually really like that
Yeah,
because
I do.
everyone
And
needs them.
I feel like yeah, like your relationship with your coach really is like make or break, and it breaks my heart when like I've seen so many times like whether it's like high school or like, college or like whenever professional, I feel like, you always hear those stories about like people like, "Oh, I can't do it anymore. Like I want to quit." And it's like because of the coach.
Yeah.
Like that is just heartbreaking to me because it's like for another person to make you feel so bad that you don't want to play anymore, like play this sport that you love, that you dedicated so much time to, like that is just I hate hearing about that. And
It's
yeah,
so
I just
sad.
like really couldn't relate like when I was in college.
Yeah.
Yeah, neither for me.
I feel like our coach that we had for the first 4 years, he was pretty chill. Like he was really nice. He was like a little our like everyone's dad, but I feel like compared to the one that came in, like she was still nice and welcoming, but she was just a little more intense and more like, this is like about her job. So yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah.
So you earned like accolades such as all academic team, and you also were a STEM major. I know that's like very heavily weighted and not necessarily easy to balance with soccer. So
Yeah.
how did you kind of balance the demands of being a college athlete and your academic pursuits?
That is a great question. And I feel like it wasn't always easy. Like I remember, oh my goodness. I remember my first semester of college. I got like I think I got like a 3.3 GPA. And obviously it's like, I'm taking like gen eds, like it's nothing too challenging. I'm not even really getting into um like my biology or chemistry classes like that yet. But I was like, still I was like pretty happy with a 3.3. I came home, I showed my parents. Oh yeah, I got a 3.3. Yo, my mom looked at me and she said, my mom looked at me, she said, "You cannot be the only black girl on the soccer team that doesn't make dean's list."
Oh,
I made dean's list every semester after that. I'll tell you
After
that.
that.
No, I was like, she really read me, but I feel like it was more so about learning, like learning how to learn. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because that first semester, I was just in the library late. I'd be in the library till like 12, 1 o'clock. Then I'm getting up at like 8, 7, 8 in the morning, like doing it all again. Just trying to be like, I feel like I was trying to be like diligent about it, but it wasn't effective,
yeah.
you know.
No.
And then by the end, like by like junior year, I'm like, hey, if I don't know by 8 or 9 p.m., I'm out of there.
Yeah.
Hey, this day I've never pulled an all-nighter in my life. I value my sleep way too much.
No,
Please,
seriously.
please leave that thing out. So I feel like, and I think also it was just very helpful to be in an environment where our team takes academics seriously. I think like we've always had the highest team GPA. Like I'm pretty sure, at least in my 4 years there. But yeah, I don't think there's not really many teams that come close to the GPA that we have. I think when I was like a sophomore or junior, we had like the second or third highest GPA in the nation.
Yeah.
I think the only team that was beating us was MIT, which is annoying because they're
Yeah.
also in our conference. They're really good.
Oh.
They're really good at soccer, so that was annoying. But yeah, like, and I think also just to have like the support of my parents, because like, you know, they're really high achieving like academically and also athletically. So like they know about the balance. They know about the demands of it. So them just giving me like tips and encouragement, stuff like that. Um, yeah, and I feel like we also have like high achievers on our team. Like, you know, girls are constantly going to grad school, going to med school, law school, like, you know, getting like really good job offers. So it's easier to do when the path has kind of been set for you already. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like it's a bit more challenging if it's like hard to imagine yourself even in those places. But it's like if the people that have come before you, they're achieving these things and it's easy to imagine yourself in those places as well. You know, so it's not really like a if I can do it, it's more like how am I going to achieve this, or like when, at what point in my 4 years can I achieve this? You know? Yeah.
No, I can definitely relate because I also was a STEM major and I didn't figure out how to study properly until junior year. It's like you can't really waste your time studying on that one thing because you have so many other things to do. And it's like you really
No.
have to figure out how like what makes you learn the fastest. And I really
Mm-hmm.
didn't figure it out till my junior year. Like it was a whole process, but at least we got
Process.
there.
It's a
At least
process.
we got there, yeah. But
It just takes time to get used to like learning what you should prioritize and what you shouldn't, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because you can really finesse your way through college and still be an A student, you know?
You can. And I
Like,
feel like a big thing is like I think to a certain extent like college favors more outgoing people because like you can't be afraid to ask for help. You can't,
no,
you
seriously,
know, because just
seriously.
asking, and that kind of goes for life in general. Like the worst that can happen is somebody says no, I can't help you. That's the
Yeah,
worst that can happen. You know what I'm saying? But chances are someone's gonna be willing to help you. You know, so
mm,
like going to office hours, like just building those relationship with professors,
yeah,
you know, whoever it is, even if it's your coach, asking your coach, like, I'm struggling a bit, like, what other resources can I use? You
yeah,
know? Yeah.
yeah. Even talking to your classmates, like, if I did not have my classmates, I don't know how I would've got through some of those classes.
You know?
That's a great resource because 'cause y'all both doing the same thing, you can work it out together, so,
It's not
yeah.
easy.
it's
It's
not.
not easy.
Yeah, because I used to hate going to teachers' office hours. I was just so scared, but then I'm like, why are you scared? Like, go ask for help. You need the help. Come on.
No,
Yeah. You know? This is their job. They're getting paid to do
Yeah.
this. Like,
And then once I
you
started going, I literally started doing so much better in the classes. And then, you're developing a relationship with the professor too. Like, you want to be a TA for that class.
yeah.
It's important. Like, it can definitely help you, get a little job, TA job.
Yeah. You
So,
know?
even like research. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah.
yeah, so what is some advice that you would give to freshmen and sophomores, coming off of this topic?
Hmm. Yeah, I guess the biggest one is just like don't be afraid to ask for help, you know,
That's a
because
good
I've heard like people don't reach out until it's too late, right? You're not
yeah,
reaching out for help. You're already on academic probation at this point. Like, you
yeah,
know, it's like you just try to stay ahead of things. Don't be embarrassed or shy, like whatever it is, like just find that person. It doesn't matter if it's like your coach, another teammate, a
mhm,
professor, like just find that person that you feel okay talking to and get the help that you need, like no matter what it is. Also, I feel like yeah, it could go for your grades or like maybe, you know, you're not feeling the best like mental health wise, whatever it is, like just find that person and get the help early versus just waiting for things to get worse.
no, it's true.
If you can, it's easier said than done, obviously, but yeah.
Yeah. Just go for it, cause I mean, at first, like, being in a freshman in college, yeah, it's a little bit intimidating, but you'll realize in the end, like, you going for help and asking for help is only gonna help you in the long run, so
Mhm. Yeah, and then I guess on the flip side, I do have advice also for juniors and seniors because I was very lucky in the sense that, like, my upperclassmen on my team were very nice to me.
mm,
I think that they were nice to, like, the underclassmen in general, but I know that that's not everybody's experience. So it's just like, don't people, they think, "Oh, I'm a junior, I'm a senior, I've arrived." Like, no,
yeah.
relax. It's not that deep. Just be nice. It does not hurt to be nice to somebody,
No,
you know?
Yeah.
It's
seriously,
a
like, be
scary
their mentor.
experience. Yes,
Yeah.
be someone's mentor. It's so much more rewarding than, like, trying to be
Yeah.
rude to somebody, like, someone has left home. They've left home probably for the first time in their
Yeah.
lives. She's shaking in her boots right now, orientation, like, you know what I'm saying? Just be
Yeah.
nice.
No, because
Yeah.
I remember, like, even being just a freshman, like, I thought the seniors were so intimidating, but
Yeah.
because, like, when you walked in there, they didn't really say anything. Like, we just
Mhm.
walked into the locker room, but no one said
Yeah.
anything. But,
Yeah.
like, once we started to get to know them and stuff, they, like, opened up and, like, they were so helpful with the classes and stuff. Like, "Just take this class, this class, this class." Um,
Mhm.
and even just, like, with soccer and stuff, they were so supportive. So yeah, I feel like and then also, like, when I became a senior, junior, I was like, "Hey, I don't wanna be this intimidating person." So I made it, like I kinda went on my way to be more friendly with the freshmen, like, "Hey," like, welcome them when they come into the, locker room and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
That's so important because 'cause they're already shaking in their boots, like you said, like, so I
Yeah.
just it's so important to make them feel welcome and comfortable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember people used to say that we were intimidating at first.
Yeah, it's like,
I was like, "Me?"
I also got the same thing, so it's like, I don't know. I mean, it's just like you just try the best that you can. Some people, they
Yeah.
think what they think, like, without
Yeah.
really, but at least if you're trying to be nice, at least you're trying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like as seniors, we were close to our the freshmen and the sophomores. We're pretty close to them, so
Mhm.
yeah.
was there any other, like, lessons that you learned just, like, throughout your whole career, at college or your whole college career? Yeah.
Mm, hmm.
Sorry.
Lessons that I learned? I don't know. Maybe come back to that one because 'cause I'm blanking right now.
Okay. No, that's fine.
You're fine, yeah.
Um, yeah, so now that you're playing professional and stuff, do you feel like, Clark University, like, prepared you to, like, transition into, like, that professional environment?
I would say so. I mean, I think Clark gave me, like, a really good foundation, like, in terms of, uh like, when it comes to, like, how to structure your workouts and stuff like that, like,
Mhm,
I learned a lot of that from Clark and, like, our, like, off-season workouts. I think a big thing was, like, leadership, because when I was at Clark, I was a captain,
mhm,
and so just being able to like, just being because you have to have those type of, like, not necessarily, like, not everyone can be a captain or whatever, like, when it comes to your your professional team, but it's, like, just being able to transfer those leadership skills, like, on the field and even off the field, like, are important for any player to have, I think, also because, like, what I know from being captain is, like, yes, like, it might be the title of one person, but, like, there's a lot of people that contribute to leadership on
yeah,
the team. Like, I couldn't have done it just me alone, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, technically I did, like, I was the only person that had the title, but there were so many other people that were helping me, like, in the background, like, on the pitch, off the pitch, so it really is the job of, the whole team, to kind of, like, own up to taking leadership in a sense. So, I would say that's, like, the biggest thing is, like, the leadership aspect that I got from it.
yeah.
I feel
Oh,
like
that's good.
the leadership part is also helps you in the professional environment because I mean, well, there is different kind of leaders. Like there's like the ones that just lead by example. There's the vocal ones, And I would say I'm more of like a lead by example. I'm not really the most vocal, but I feel like when you go into the professional environment, kind of everyone's kind of at the same level, and
Mhm.
you, I mean, it's just like you kind of have to bring what you have to the table. And I even though you're not the loudest, but if you lead by example, everyone's gonna follow. So
Yes.
yeah, I think that's super important too. You don't necessarily
Mhm.
like the vocalist leader, but like
I
you
agree.
can play your role in the team. Um,
Yeah.
but you had the opportunity to play professionally in Zambia, which is so cool. Like, what
Mhm.
inspired you or influenced you to go and play there?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I was saying earlier, like my whole soccer journey has been very like unconventional. So, I guess I'll just start from the beginning. Like I had been talking with the Football Association of Zambia since I think I first got in contact with them in like 2018, I think. Um and this was like right after Zambia had started allowing dual citizenship because they just now started allowing it in like I want to say 2016, somewhere around there. So, yeah, I didn't have dual citizen. I literally just got my citizenship last year for Zambia. But yeah, I was speaking with them in like 2018 about like my interest in representing Zambia, had some good conversations. And like I was hoping to get my citizenship like then. Because I think I would, yeah, I would have still been eligible to play for the under 20s at that time. But it just didn't really pan out. I think it's just a much more involved process than like we thought, than the football association thought. So it just didn't really work out at that time. But Zambians are like really big into social media, especially Facebook. So I felt like it was like so funny because like every few years, like some video or like picture of me playing soccer would like go viral like in Zambia, and they'd be like, "You need to get this girl." Like, all of our Zambians in the diaspora, like you're welcome home, like you should come home, represent Zambia, blah blah blah. And then um so I started talking to Faz is the Football Association of Zambia. Faz again in like 2021, 2022, somewhere there. Hoping to get my citizenship, and things were still kind of like slow moving a bit. Yeah, it's just like they've never had I'm the first like American born player to ever play for Zambia. I don't
Oh,
know if I'm
wow.
the first foreign born, I might be, I'm not sure. Um I know at least since like 2016, like they haven't had anyone uh like that. But so then, and at this point I'm in grad school already. So like I'm not really playing at that level anymore. I was even coaching high school, which was fine. That was like a whole other thing on its own. Uh, but as much as I like coaching, I was like, like I really miss playing. Especially like it's different from just like playing pickup and stuff. Like obviously playing pickup and everything with your friends is fine, but it's not the same as like playing college, like playing at that level. So then, um, I started like training a bit more seriously, and then the club that I was playing for, they reached out to me in I want to say like January of 2023. They were like, "Oh, like, we heard about your story. Um, we think that if you come to Zambia, even just for like a little bit of time and kind of give the football association like more of an opportunity to watch you, that can be like really good and like just a good introduction for you basically. You'll get to like learn the Zambian style of play because it's very different from how like I learned to play here in the States." So I was like, okay, cool. So I actually had a spring break trip to Barcelona planned with my friends, but I
Oh,
had to cancel it to go to Zambia. So I was only supposed to be there for spring break. I was supposed to be there for like 3 weeks.
yeah.
So I went and I was playing in the league, and then in at the end of March is when I got my first call up to the national team, and that was like the first week of April, and I was already supposed to be back in the States. So I had to like talk to my professors. I was like, yeah, so we need to figure this out basically. But they were like really understanding. Also, like I had a feeling I might stay longer than I expected. So I had set up because we, at Hopkins, we do like a quarter system. So I had set up my classes that last quarter to be mainly online. And I didn't really have that many class responsibilities anyway, because I was gearing up to do my thesis at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So they were really understanding and like flexible with me. And it was helpful that I set up my classes that way. So then I ended up finishing out the season, and I was there from March until May. And then I came home, was just training a lot over the summer, getting ready. And then they were like, we want you to renew your contract, and come back and play like the full season now. So yeah, that's what I did this past year. And it was a really good experience.
Oh, I love so cool. Did you face any, challenges like playing like on and off the field in Zambia?
Quite a few challenges, I would say. I feel like, okay, on the field, it's just a very different game. Like it's kind of like I had to relearn how to play soccer essentially, because like the way that we play in the States, you just have a lot more time on the ball. You have time on the ball to like make your decision. I feel like now it's like you have so much time, like I could have like a cup of tea. Like I could just sit there, drink my tea, like no. And someone's gonna take out your feet. Like, it's just very high paced. It's a game of speed, it's a game of strength, like, and if you don't have those things, you need to figure out how to adjust, right? So I feel like I always thought that, and I think it kind of goes for like playing at that next level in general. Like it's nice when you're the strongest player on the field, the fastest player on the field, but then when you get to that level, it's like everyone is that strong, everyone is that fast.
Yeah.
So you need to figure out what's going to make you stand out. How are you going to adjust? So I feel like I was definitely dealing with a bit of that and just like learning how to play a faster game. I think also like the ball's in the air a lot more, I would say. Like, whereas like I feel like in the US, people tend to keep it on the ground. Like, no one really likes to play long balls in the States, like, at least not like how they like to play them there, So I feel like that was the biggest difference, like on the field. Off the field, speaking candidly, I think that at first, me being there was I don't know. I don't want to say it was like off-putting, but yeah, I guess it was kind of off-putting for some people, because like I said, like they've never had an American player on the national team or like playing in the league that I know of. And so yeah, I think people were just kind of like they didn't know what to make of me at first, or maybe they thought like what I heard a lot of was like, oh, when I got to know people, they're like, oh, I thought like, when I first saw you, when I first met you, like I thought you were gonna be rude, and I think like Americans have that stereotype.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then I think also it's like exaggerated by the fact that like I'm half Zambian, like my father's not Zambian, so I think like that kind of emphasizes it. But yeah, I think people had a lot of opinions about me, like when they first met me. But I think as time went on and, I got closer with people, I met more people and they like really took the time to get to know me. They realized like, oh, maybe she's not what we thought she was gonna be like, which was nice. Like, I mean, I really can't blame people for having certain stereotypes about Americans. I feel like in some cases we kind of deserve that, to be honest. But yeah, it definitely didn't make it easier for me. I think also the language barrier was very challenging at first, because yeah, I just didn't grow up speaking the language like at home or anything. So yeah, but it was kind of like by fire by force. I have to learn this language because it's like this is what our team speaks on the field. So it's like I have
Yeah.
to know. Um, yeah, so I would say like those are the biggest things, like kind of just like earning people's trust and then the language barrier aspect of it.
Mm. What kind of things did you have to say on the field? Like, was it like how would you say like man on or something? Like Zambia.
No, I mean some things you say in English still.
Oh, oh.
Yeah, but it's just like no, but like yeah, like I guess like directional things.
Oh,
Yeah. Or like, at halftime or something, like they're not using English at
mm,
halftime, you know?
yeah.
So, but then it's even still challenging because like so like the two main languages that people use like when it comes to football are Nyanja and Bemba. At this point, I can say I'm like pretty decent with Nyanja. I can't really speak it that well, but like understanding it. But like Bemba, it's gonna take me some time. I can't do it yet. So I think that's my next challenge.
Mhm.
And then also like my tribal language is different from both of those languages, so I have to learn that as well. So it's a lot happening. It's a lot going on.
Oh my god.
But
So can they speak English? Like, do they know English? Oh, they do.
yeah, yeah. But I think like people's comfortability with English like depends
Yeah.
on the type of environments that you're in, or like how much school you did. And
Mm.
that's a big issue in Zambia actually is like it's kind of like you choose one or the other. Like you can't do sports and do school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so like if you are planning to pursue sports, a lot of the girls and I think the guys as well, they'll just drop out of school. It's like a good amount of my teammates didn't finish high school.
Mm.
So it's like it's not really, which is also something that I think was a bit off-putting for people because it's like now that I have my master's, it's kind of like why are you here? Because I think soccer there is kind of associated with not having opportunities in other realms.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, and then like on top of that, a lot of people that play soccer at that level and are like, getting paid to play, they're the breadwinners in their families. So it's
Mm.
just not necessarily like a great situation, I would say. But yeah, and I think that's something else I want to do actually is like I hope that I can even, when I'm done playing, I definitely want to stay connected with the football association and like I want to get the narrative started on like why can't we elevate our youth to do sports and education because it's important because you can't play soccer forever. You just can't.
Mm.
So like what pipelines are we allowing for our girls to when they're done with soccer like, maybe go back to school or like whatever it is, we need to be having these conversations because I feel like too many times we see players and these are people in our community like
Mm.
people like, literal stars from the national team of like the last generation that are like, what are they doing now? Nothing, and
Mm.
that's a shame. Like, we just can't, if we really are so focused on communities, like, we need to have an all encompassing approach to this. Like, it can't just be, one and done. You just play soccer for a few years and then you're out on the streets. Like,
Yeah.
that's
No.
not good.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that my dad made sure that we had like a backup plan. Like he was like, like don't go play bro yet. Like go get your masters. Just to have like a cushion if the professional thing doesn't work out. But
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
And it's a privilege to be able to do so because I feel like, in the States,
definitely.
it's like, it's expected for the most part. I mean, I think things are changing a bit, especially now with like MLS Next and stuff.
Yeah.
So some people are skipping the college route, but it's not as common. Like
Mm.
obviously, I think everyone that we know, at least especially women, they've all played college before they went pro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel
So
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
women's side.
Especially now, cause oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I said especially now because the NWSL is allowing like young players to compete. I feel like a lot of people might stop going to college and just maybe even they'll probably take college classes online, but they won't really
I
actually
was,
experience like college.
yeah, I was thinking about that because they have like 15, 16-year-olds in there now. Like I'm
Yes.
wondering like what are they gonna do like when it
Yeah.
comes to college?
Yeah.
And I mean, I think it was even kind of a game changer when, like, I think it was Trinity Rodman, like, she left early, right? She didn't graduate.
She
Yeah,
didn't.
I think so.
Yeah, and I can't really think of many players in the NWSL that didn't do the 4 years.
Yeah, there was another girl. She played on. I think it was it? Oh, I forgot.
Angel City?
No, I was trying to.
Angel City?
No, I was trying to think of the college that she went to. Oh, she went to Duke. She went to Duke.
Oh,
I'm talking about.
yeah, I do know who you're talking about. I'm
But
thinking.
she also left early. Like she didn't finish college, but she was really
Yeah,
good.
Oh,
yeah.
Corbin. Oh, no. She went to Corbin did that. The one that went
Oh,
to
Corbin.
PSG.
Oh, yeah, Corbin. She went to.
Oh,
Oh,
but she
yeah,
went
she
to
did do that.
PSG though.
It
Yeah.
doesn't figure out for her name, but yes, they're all playing pro, but it's
Yeah.
I wonder what they're. I mean, maybe they're still taking classes because it's so
Maybe.
possible to take online stuff. But yeah, that's so very true. But I can
Yeah.
also relate to what you were saying about just like the pace and the language barrier. Because playing in France, it's a lot more like technical. So I had to be a lot more sharper. Um,
Mhm.
and I had to be a lot more faster. Just the pace was faster too. So it took me some time to adjust. And as well with the language barrier, just, the certain words that they used in French. Like I speak a little bit of French. I should be fluent. It's really bad, but I'm not. I'm not.
Like, you spoke French before you went?
Yeah, like we were in French
Just went to
immersion
school.
from first grade to 12th grade.
Okay.
Should be fluent. But not. But it's also for us, we understand it better than we can speak it. So we kind of can still get away with it, but it's just the speaking part I just had to work on. But
Yeah.
just like even on the field, the little words, like we had to get used to saying the words.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm thinking it in English, and like when they say left or right,
Mhm.
sometimes in French it doesn't click that fast.
Yeah.
So sometimes the girl's like, "Do you want to just say? Do you want to say it in English?" And I'm like, "No, no, just say it in French so I can get like used to it."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just like a learning experience, and it's just
Yeah.
gonna come with patience and stuff like that. So yeah, but could you kind of just talk more about like the Super League that you played in, like the timeline and kind of the competitiveness of it?
Yeah, I think, um,
Competitiveness, my bad.
our Super League is, like, very young. I think they didn't establish the Super League, like, how we know it today until I think this is only, like, the 3rd or 4th year, and before that, it was, like, more, I actually did know the structure a bit better, like, if you had asked me a few months ago. I think it was, like, a bit more, like, provincial was how they were doing it, so it was, like, instead of having one Super League for the whole country, it was, like, you have, like, the winners of, like, the Copper Belt, you have, like, the winners of, like, Lusaka Province, whatever. So that was, like, the biggest difference. But now, we have, like, the Super League, and then we have the National League, which is, like, more provincial, and then there's actually, like, a lot of teams. But then when you get to, like, the National League and leagues underneath it, it's kind of more so, like, academy level, it's, like, younger players. Whereas, like, the Super League, we do have some young players in the Super League, but for the most part, they're, like, older players, more experienced players. And yeah, it's, like, really competitive, I would say a good chunk of the national team, is still playing, like, in the Super League in Zambia. Um, yeah, and it's, like, I think the big thing is, like, making it to be able to play, like, CAF Champions League is, like, a big deal. Um, but yeah, I think I mean, the Super League is big, like, there's, like, 18 teams. And yeah, what I really enjoyed about it, was, before I was playing in Zambia, whenever I visit Zambia, I just stay in Lusaka because that's where most of my family is. But playing in the Super League gave me the opportunity to see other provinces. Like, we went to Eastern Province, we went to the Copper Belt a lot. Um, I did not go to Western Province, not yet at least. I need to go because that's where my family originally is from.
Mhm.
So I'm definitely overdue a visit. I also haven't been to Southern Province since I was a kid. and the team that was in Southern Province, they got relegated last season, and everyone is
Oh,
super sad because like Southern Province is where Victoria Falls is. Like everyone loves doing like the Victoria Falls trip, and like you get to like, you know, stay in Livingston, and it's like really pretty and stuff. So like no one wanted them to get relegated, but
um,
I think they just got promoted again, I think. So yeah, like that was like one of my favorite aspects, like the road trips, like being able to see different parts of Zambia that I've never been to before. Yeah, and it's very competitive, I would say.
I love that because we also had the opportunities, and like throughout the conference, just travel to different parts of France and Denmark and just seeing the different cities. So I can definitely relate to that because it's so cool just seeing different parts of France. Like there's like more like especially like the south of France where it's hotter, there's more mountains, and it's really pretty just seeing different parts. Because compared to where I live, it's more like rural and just the country. Like where I live, I was really looking at a farm, like cows every morning. So
Yeah.
yeah, because I wasn't living in the city, I was kind of like outside of the city. So yeah, it
Hmm.
was like cool to see different parts and how
Yeah.
different it looked and the people. So yeah, I can definitely relate to that one.
Hmm.
yeah, so you said that you got called up to the Zambia National Team. Can you kind of just describe to us what that moment was like for you?
Hey, it was crazy. I yeah, so like I had been playing in the league for like probably like 2 weeks at that point, and usually how they do it for tournaments or for friendlies, I don't know if Jamaica does. I don't think you guys do the same thing, but usually like we'll have a provincial squad get named, or not provincial, provisional. Those are different words. Provisional squad
Mhm.
um be named, and it's like a bit of a bigger team, and then we have like a local camp, and then after the local camp is when the technical bench makes like their final decision and names the final squad. So I had received an invitation for the provisional squad, and then I was in camp for like I think I was in camp for like 10 days, like a little bit over a week or so
Yeah.
within Lusaka, and yeah, it was a really good experience. Like I learned a lot. It was my first camp obviously, and just meeting different people from different teams. It is a bit intimidating, I think, because it's like, you know, most of the girls on the national team or, you know, that are just playing in Zambia in general, like they all know each other, like they grew up together. Whereas like, you know, I'm kind of coming from the outside. At that point, I really did not know any of the language. So it was a bit intimidating, I would say, but I think like there were certain people that really went above and beyond to make me feel welcome, which I'm really grateful for because if I didn't have them, I don't know what I would do.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and like they just really like, you know, those people really took care of me and like made me feel included and just like always made sure that I knew where I was going, where I was supposed to be. And yeah, that was kind of like my first glimpse of like, you know, really playing at that next level. And it's like, okay, if I want to be there, like this is what I have to do.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I didn't really know what to expect from it. But it was hard. Like I think like, you know, both physically and mentally, it's like it's a difficult experience. I think especially like your first camp.
Yeah.
Um, but I learned a lot, and then they had released us from camp. So I went home. This was like, I don't know, a Monday. I was planning to leave the country on Tuesday to like go back to the States. And then my family, like, they were texting me. They were like, "Did you check Facebook?" I was like, "What are you talking about? Did I check Facebook?" I go on Facebook, I go on like the Football Association page, and they had named the final roster, and I was on it. And I was like,
Oh,
it was just crazy. It was a crazy moment, literally at the hair salon. And then I was like, "Oh my gosh, like I gotta go change my flag, I gotta call my professors, like I gotta figure this out." That was my biggest thing, cause yeah, and that was like for the friendlies against South Korea last year.
oh,
Um yeah, and like that was cool. Like I'd never been to Asia before that.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, that was my first call up and my first cap I got in the first game against South Korea. Um, yeah, and it was just like it was a really amazing experience. Like, um, just being able to be with the team and meet new people like that. And, you know, I feel like I had never really envisioned playing at that level, especially because after college I had quit for a little while. So
Yeah.
like being able to like I never experienced or I never thought that I'd like have that experience, you know? So it was yeah, it was amazing, honestly. I loved it. As difficult and challenging as it was, like I really did have a great time. Yeah,
Mm.
and I learned a lot because it's like, you know, you see where you're at versus like where the starters are at and like the people that are like you know, at this point it's like I have teammates in on like the craziest teams, like they're really performing very well. So it's like you see where you're at and then you see where like that next level is at and you're like, okay, I have to work harder. So it was like really good motivation for me too.
No, I
I
love
feel like we can, yeah. Oh, go ahead, Kate.
that. You go
Go.
ahead.
I was just saying that I feel like we could relate to that as well because when we played for Jamaica, well, the first time I went to play for Jamaica, like I was so nervous, but then like just seeing just seeing how everyone plays, it kind of showed me like where I need to be and what things that I need to work on to get to where they're at. So
Mhm.
I definitely understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like everybody wants, play for the national team, and that's one of their biggest goals. And then once you really get there, you're like, wow, like I actually made it. So it's like a such a great feeling once you finally get there. It's just
Yeah.
that's just like maintaining it because I know like the national team is it's not. I mean, it's not all over the place, but there's always new players coming in. So you
Yeah.
just gotta keep working on yourself and trying to be the best you can be. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. I think also for me, like I definitely had to get over like I think I was a bit starstruck at first, like, you know, because it's like I was like we have like really big players on our team. So I was like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe I'm like training here. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, then like once you get over it, it's like, okay, okay. Like let's
Mm.
get down to business. I know what I need to do. I need to handle my business, you know? Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I could I we also have like a big player there, Bunny Shaw. She plays for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like even playing with her, I'm just like, wow, like she's playing at like one of the best leagues in the world, and like I'm really playing with her, like so that's
Yeah.
it's just it's such a like cool experience, like oh my goodness, because like
It's good
yeah,
motivation.
it's such great motivation.
And it's rewarding because it's like, wow, like that could be me one day, you know?
Yeah. Mhm.
It's just, yeah. So, nah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Getting the recognition, like, of getting the call up in the first place is like, "Oh, okay, like, I'm on the right track," you know?
Yeah,
yeah, it
exactly.
does. It definitely reassures you that you're on the right track.
Mhm.
But do you have any other goals or aspirations that you want to accomplish before you end your soccer career?
Hmm. Um, honestly, I think, like, my biggest goal is just, like, leaving everything out there, like, not having any regrets, you know, like, just seeing how far I can take this, um, really pushing myself, you know, because it's like, I don't you know, it's like we were talking, like with the masters, it's like we don't need to do this forever. So it's like at this point, this all has to be internal motivation. You know, like I'm still playing for a reason. Like what like I need to find that reason, really hone in on it and like just make the most out of the time that I have remaining. You know, because, you know, like we've been saying, it's like not that many people get to play at this level, get to play with these amazing athletes. So yeah, it's like I feel like I have a lot more to offer, so I just need to just, you know, stay focused and keep going.
No, I love that. I feel like I also like for me too, like I feel like I have so much more to give and so much more I want to accomplish too. And just
Mhm.
like how high I can go. So I'm like definitely in the same boat as you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have like a country or a dream team that you would like love to play for or play in? If
Mm,
not, it's okay.
I don't know. I mean, like, I think playing in Mexico would be really cool.
Mhm.
Like, I've heard a lot of good things about that league. It's very competitive. Mexico would be cool. I think also like France or Spain would be
Mm.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I could choose to go anywhere,
I think those, yeah. Yeah. I think Spain would be so pretty. Just to even
right?
live in, like, oh my
Yeah.
god.
Crazy. That would
Honest.
be
So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Just
gotta
gotta wait and see.
For
work.
real.
But just like as just to wrap it up, is there any advice that you would give to future aspiring professional athletes out there?
Mm,
In general, you know.
I think just make sure like you make the whole process about you. Like don't and it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about like how coaches can make you I've heard things about like coaches have made people want to quit or like make you feel unmotivated or whatever it is. I think like that. Also, you can't really play for your family. Like you have to do that for or like whoever it is, your friends. You have to play for yourself, because
Mhm.
they're not there with you every day, waking up early, going to the gym, getting your touches in. Like that's all you. So you have to find your own reason, your own motivation. Um, and I think the earlier you do it, the more successful you will be at like having that discipline. Um, and yeah, I think like because that's really what sets you apart from the next person. Because once you get to that level, it's like everyone is that skilled. It's really about discipline. So if you can find that internal motivation, you'll be good.
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
kind of find something that drives you.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 Basically, like your why. Like I feel like
Yeah.
when you get into your little ruts or you're feeling down. Like I feel like your why is gonna bring you out of those moments and help you keep going. So
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because there's gonna be days where you're like, I don't want to do anything, and you just
Exactly.
have to like, no, like this is the what I chose to do for my life, so I gotta go. But
One
again,
percent better every
like,
day.
no, see, it's
no, literally, it's gonna be a up and down battle all the time. So no, that's
Yeah,
good. That's good advice.
for
but
sure.
Inonge, thanks again for being on the One Soccer Nation podcast. It was so great to catch up and hear your journey. So yeah, thank you again.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem.